Hello everybody and welcome back to another tutorial, and today we will be looking at the Chibi intro that I like to do. Some people have requested this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Um, what you want to start with is a After Effects project with your song in the timeline and your beats marked. I went ahead and did that already, so we can skip that process. Then what we want to do is first create a white solid. This is going to be the background, obviously. And you want to trim it to the beat right here. One beat is what you need it to be. And then you need your chibis or whatever you want to use. I'm not gonna judge. What I like to do is I put in all of them first, and then I line them up with the scale. I just cut them all like this, and then I line them up perfectly, so it's always like symmetrical, you can say. Like I start with one, I just line them up to where I roughly want them. Then I make the other visible, and then I line him up as well, like this. And I just do that for like roughly every single chibi that is in the timeline. The more chibis you have, the longer this step will take, but it's low-key not really that time consuming. I already did it before like that. And then I just push these to the beat right here, like so. And then I just make sure they're all lined up. Since I have 4 beats, I have 4 chibi characters, and that's gonna be the intro. Now, since we have the background, we're gonna go ahead and, well, I like to give it a gradient, the good old Aster style stuff. Um, and then just give it a color. For example, this is Sung Jin Woo. I'm gonna need him at last because this is gonna be obviously Sung Jin Woo edit. Um, there we go. Start off with this guy, red. Alright, perfect. Then what you want to do is you just make a circle mask. You can hold left click over here on this icon. Go to the ellipse tool, and then if you press Control and Shift and double click this icon, it automatically creates a perfectly shaped circle. Then you're gonna go ahead and press M. So you have the mask path option on the mask over here. You click on the stopwatch, and then you just make it double click on the yellow outline. Then you have this little box. You can hold Control and Shift and drag this towards the middle until it's really, really tiny, like so. And then you go to your last frame right here, like this, and then you make this circle the entire screen. Obviously, you're just gonna make the circle wipe thingy all the way to the center. There's also the circle effect for this, but honestly, I like the mask path more. You're gonna easy ease this, and then you're gonna go into the graph editor, speed graph it, and then just give it a simple graph like this roughly. If you were to go into the value graph, if you like value graphs more, it would look something like hello. I guess not, but it looks something along the lines of this roughly like this. Hold on, I can just my After Effects doesn't crash. Yeah, there you go. This is what the value graph would look like. Then what you want to do is you want to pre-compose the chibi. Uh, then you're gonna go ahead and attach 2 nulls to it, like so. But before I do that, I'm just gonna add a quick little this. There you go. You don't really see it, but then I'm gonna pre-comp again. Anyways, as I said, you're gonna pre-compose your chibi and add 2 nulls to it, and then this is where the magic happens. So first of all, you're gonna get the rotation and position keyframes for both of these things. You're just gonna move them all the way to the end right there, not fully to the end like this, so you can still see this in the timeline. Then what you're gonna do is, depending on where you want to go from or start from, I'm gonna make it go from the left to the middle. So you're gonna start at -90, so it rotates to the left, and then you can grab this little anchor point here and just drag it to the bottom left like this, roughly. So basically this outline over here is still like barely visible. And then what you want to do is you want to give it a very, very tight graph. I have preset graphs for this, but low-key you can just do this. Just drag them across so they connect. I can also give this exact flow graph if you need, and then you just do this. Then it looks something like this, which is totally normal. The bend is gonna make it look better at the end. But before we add the bend effect, we're gonna do the exact same thing on the null 2, although this time we're gonna have the keyframes at the start and go to the end, and then we're gonna go to -90 again, grab this little anchor point again and move it somewhere like here. And then what you want to do is obviously you can just reverse the graph like so, and then boom. But I'll give the exact numbers of these in the Discord. So join the Discord if you're watching this on YouTube. Now we have something that looks like this. I'm gonna mute the song real quick so don't get copyright strike. We're gonna do like this. It looks very cursed, I know, but now we'll add the CC Bendit, which is a free plugin built into After Effects. I usually like to go into the middle here where I see the entire thing, and you see these little dots. This is the bottom one is the start point. You see if I move this, see over here at the top left how it just moves. What you want to do is you want to hold this thingy and hold shift and just drag it down towards the bottom of your composition and do the same thing for this one on the top, but just to the top. As you can see, if I don't do this, it cuts him off because that's how Bend It works. And now what you're going to do is you're going to click on the stopwatch for the bend, press U to open up all the keyframes here. You're going to go to the beginning, and then you're going to go ahead and give this, sorry, you're going to go ahead and give this minus 90 on the value, because it's going to make it curve to the, yeah, like right there. Now you're going to go to the end and give it a value of, let's say 12. I usually give it 12. And now we need a graph. I'll also give you the graph thingy right here. It's somewhere like this. And as you can see, it bends up like this. And while it's on the bend motion, it already goes down. And that's how you basically do the Chibi thing. And you're going to basically repeat this for the entire, what do you call it? Entire intro. There you go. Can't speak while I'm trying to multitask. Anyways, then you're gonna do the exact same thing for the entire intro. Let me just pre-compose these, and then I'll speed up the process just a little bit because I can't be asked to sit here for a while. Like so, and then you're just gonna add like this. Move it to the end, like so, and just go 90. Pull it to the bottom right, and then give it the good old graphs right here. 90 again, and then to the bottom, give this graph, and then give the bend it here, go to the middle, bend it, pull this to the bottom while holding shift, like so. Then you can give this 90, and then move this to the beginning. Press O to go to the last frame of the clip, and just give this a value of negative 12 now, because you're going from the other side. This little graph, and then it'll look like this. Because the song is kind of quick, it's going to look a bit cursed, but this is how it looks then. Of course, you can make the bend it thingy a little bit tighter so it bends more to the middle. For example, like right here, you can make this like a little bit like this. Boom, and then it bends a bit more. You see, like this. And that's basically how you do the intro. I'm gonna leave it the way it was though. I'm not gonna mess with that. And yeah, that's how you do the Chibi intro, and that's really all you need to do. It's not really that hard once you get the hang of it. I will leave the graphs in the Discord, and the materials. I'll also drop the chibis in if you need them really, but yeah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.